5, 3, 7, 2, 0. Okay. We are going to play another quick game. You have to touch the body parts that I'm going to say. I'm going to say, okay? Head, nose, hair, chin, eyes, hair, hands, legs. Nobody's hand is on the head. That's good. You are alert and active this morning. I'm going to hand over. Are we ready to start yet? Anybody else having breakfast near the stalls, near the exhibit areas, may I please request you to come to the audience. We are so ready to hear Dr. Ganga Khedkar speak. I am going to request my co-host to start the program formally. I hope you enjoy today's talk. We'll wait for a minute. I was actually going to make you dance like yesterday, but I didn't want to after having breakfast. So we'll save that for the afternoon or the evening sessions, okay? Ready?
Once again, very, very good morning, everyone. Without any further ado, we are moving ahead to the very first segment. But before that, my first and foremost duty is to welcome you all on the behalf of Government of Maharashtra, NSCRT, SCRT. As we all know why we all have gathered here for the 50th Rashtriya Bal Vaigyanik Pradarshan 2023. And it's an immense pleasure to have such an amazing audience with us. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Without any further ado, I would like to thank all the teachers, parents, students, honorable guests, and dignitaries for being here. As we are moving ahead to the morning science talk, I would request my host, Prerna, to please come ahead for the next segment.
Good morning again. I am immensely proud to introduce our esteemed guest this morning. Honorable Dr. Raman Ganga Khedkar is a distinguished professor at Symbiosis International Deemed University. He is the chairman of Corona Task Force Maharashtra currently. He is the former head of Division of Epidemiology and Communicable Diseases, ECD, Indian Council of Medical Research, New Delhi, and director in charge at National AIDS Research Institute, Pune. As head of ECD, he managed research and also contributed to public health response in recent outbreaks of Nipah, Zika, and COVID-19. He is a member of the National Task Force on COVID-19 and also a member of Clinical Research Group and Epidemiology and Operations Research Group for the National Task Force on COVID-19. He is a member of the governing body of National Institute of Tuberculosis and Respiratory Diseases, New Delhi, and the National Health Systems Resource Center, New Delhi. He is a member of steering group on HIV Resistance Network, HIV ResNet, constituted by World Health Organization, Geneva. He is also a member of the expert group on the National Operations Research Committee and expert committee on TB vaccines and diagnostics under the National TB Elimination Program. He is a member of Research Advisory Board of the Asian Institute of Gastroenterology, Hyderabad, the Leprosy Mission Trust India, New Delhi, and the Research and Recognition Committee, Faculty of Health Sciences, Symbiosis International Deemed University, Pune, and Indrayani Hospital and Cancer Institute, Arandi. He has been working in the field of HIV disease for over 3 decades. He is an expert in HIV medicine and associated infectious diseases epidemiology, and public health. He was one of the key players in advocacy since 1989 and has been involved in policy making at national level on prevention of mother-to-child transmission and sexually transmitted infections, in addition to other key population-specific policies. He is a popular and astute HIV medicine physician. He has been a member of many prestigious international committees on different facets of HIV disease. He has published over 237 papers in various national and international journals. Honorable Dr. Ganga Khedkar was awarded the Padma Shri in 2020. He was awarded Doctor of Medical Science, DMed Sci, Honours Causa by Datta Meghe Institute of Medical Sciences, deemed to be university in 2021. He was awarded DLIT by Symbiosis International Deemed University in 2022. There is a long list of awards that he has received and a long list of groups that he serves on. But we are here to listen to Dr. Ganga Khedkar and not me. And so I'm going to spare you any more details. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, very proudly, let's put our hands together for our remarkable guest, Dr. Raman Ganga Khedkar.
Indeed, it's a pleasure having you here on the stage, sir. Along with sir, I would request Honorable Dr. Shobha Kandhare, Diet Pracharya Pune. Along with her, I would request Dr. Neha Belsare and Dr. Kamala Devi ma'am to please come ahead on the stage. I also want to request Dr. Neha Belsare and Dr. Kamala Devi ma'am to please come ahead on the stage. Please पुन्हा एकदा जोरदार टाळ्या व्हायला पाहिजेत everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
ठीक है हाँ
कम्फर्टेबल वाटते
हो
वायर मागे घ्यायची
नाही Am I audible till the end? So good morning everyone. Let me first thank the organizers that they thought I should speak with you all. At the same time, I must say that I am as much confused as to what exactly am I going to speak, whether in terms of motivation, whether motivating you to join the force in science and make difference in lives of people, or am I going to speak only on health, diseases and cleanliness? But what I'm going to do essentially is to start first thinking in terms of motivating where are the gaps and how small things make huge difference, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of prevention of diseases or whatever. But before I go ahead, let me first apologize that I'm sitting and talking. Partly this has been a story since COVID started, because in COVID, you had hardly any time left to walking or doing anything. Most often the meetings used to be on Zoom, and we had to go on TV to try and explain things to people so that people don't panic. The result is, you have seen, I put on weight, and worse still, when I got Omicron, it has left some imprint on the lungs. So I am sorry, but I would be sitting down and speaking with you. Now let me try and first tell you a small story how I started my life, educational career. My father, he used to be a tehsildar. No? I don't know, in each state you must be having different kinds of names. He used to be from revenue services, be at a block level, and try to help people in different ways. We used to get transferred often. And when I say we used to get transferred, there was a time, I studied in Marathwada region of Maharashtra. And in Marathwada, in the 9th standard, when I was to go into 9th standard, he was transferred 3 times in a year. The result was I landed up finally into one school, which was a Jilla Parishad school. Marathi medium, government school, and it was at the border of Andhra Pradesh, Biloli district. Why am I saying this? As a child, I still remember when finally I went into the 3rd school and stabilized there in Biloli, I didn't know how I would perform, because you are always scared, new group of friends, new teachers, what would happen? I remember my first quarterly exam, and in 9th standard those days, there used to be something which used to be called as higher mathematics as a subject. And trust me, since I was moving all the time through and through, I got only 10 marks in mathematics out of 100. I came home crying because I didn't know what to do. And I told my mother that I don't think higher mathematics is a good subject for me because I got only 10 and failed. And I would take civics as the subject. My mother, that time, she suddenly said, in those cases, you should sit home. I will go to the school because I would perhaps do better. That hurt me a lot. I still remember that in my SSC exam, I had 99 marks. Those days, marks never used to be so commonly, close to 100. I struggled. My English was so poor. At that time, the teaching was so poor. I must admit that. This is not to point flaws, but it was the system. That he used in the 10th standard examination, because I used to write in cursive. My teacher used to punish me that every day I will write those letters separately. 1 page of write-up like a child in KG and such children writing like that. Did that stop me? It was a township of about 5,000 people. It is one's own passion. It is one's own movement in a particular direction. When I passed out, my father said, those days we didn't have much of choices. Either you go to medicine or you go to engineering. My father used to feel I should become a doctor. No. And I was very young. No, when I appeared for SSC, those days when my age was only about 14 years. And even for medicine, when I got admission, I was underage because you have to attain the age of 17. I had not seen a single dead body when I joined medicine because I was too young. Then I still remember I did pediatrics. I wanted to do something different, no? Rather than treating only minor ailments like cough and cold, diarrhea that tends to occur among children, and be happy with it. Did I stop there? No. I said, I don't want to earn money. Those days, pediatrics used to be one of those branches where one would earn a lot of money, no, if you do private practice. But I refused to do that. I said I want to join the career as a researcher, no, because as a researcher, you can contribute to many. No, if you tweak, if some of the evidences that you generate can translate into policies, you will make difference in millions or billions of people's lives. Whereas if I become a practitioner, no, I will treat one person and that person may get benefited. And that logic tended to act heavily on my mind. First, I joined in National Institute of Nutrition in Hyderabad, which was among the top 3 institutions in the world in nutrition. And those days, research as a career was never something which used to be so common, no? People didn't know what researcher would do. Then I went to Bombay. I worked in Institute of Immunohematology, where I started working on a genetic disorder, sickle cell disease. And while going for one of the research work which we were doing in the field of Valsad, one of my local collaborators, he said, कि बॉस अभी तो आप जाके आए फील्ड में, थोड़ा हिंदी समझता है ना? हिंदी में थोड़ा बोला तो चलेगा ना? He said, थक के आया है तू, लेकिन अपन ऐसा करेंगे, एक पेशेंट बैठा है, वो पेशेंट को देख लेना. तो लगा कौन सा पेशेंट देखना है? नहीं, उसको एड्स हुआ है. दिस इज अ स्टोरी ऑफ 1989. एड्स हुआ है. मैं बोला अरे मेरे को एड्स वगैरह का कुछ आता नहीं, मैं सिकल सेल का आदमी हूँ. और बिकॉज HIV was a disease of adults, no, those days. And I am a pediatrician by background. बोला अरे ऐसे नहीं है, उसको ना गांव से बाहर निकाल के रखे हैं लोगों ने, उसके पास कोई जाता नहीं, तू जाके भी आया तो भी फर्क पड़ेगा. मैं बोला मेरा क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, मैं जाके क्या बात करूंगा. तो उसने मेरे को एक कहा, नहीं नहीं तू फिक्र मत कर, ऐसे भी तो कोई सॉरी सॉरी याला काय झालं नाही, एकच मिनिट. नहीं, वो मेरे को बोला तू कुछ फिक्र मत कर, तू बम्बई से आए वाला डॉक्टर है, वो सुन के ही उसको खुशी हो जाएगी, वो तेरे को एक्सपर्ट मानेगा. I got framed unnecessarily. वहाँ जाके देखता हूँ वो उतना बोला तो उसके घर गया. देयर आर रीजन्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस स्टोरीज. मैं उसके घर गया. ये एक पैसे वाला आदमी गुजराती न छोटे गांव में का रहने वाला है. अंदर गया तो एक ऐसा डाइनिंग टेबल के वैसा टेबल था. वो टेबल के वहाँ अगर हम जाके बैठे तो वो सामने वो बैठा था, मैं इधर के साइड को बैठा. बैठने के बाद में आज भी मेरे को याद है न, वो मेरे से बात करना शुरू किया. अब देयर वाज ओनली वन रिसर्च पेपर दैट आई हैड रेड इन वन जर्नल, ब्लड, which used to come to our institute because it was a hematology institute. उसमें मैंने एक आर्टिकल पढ़ा था कैजुअली कि एक बड़े रिसर्चर ने, साइंटिस्ट ने, अमेरिका के, उसने लिखा था कि HIV जो है, जिसको दवा नहीं थी, एड्स को कोई दवा नहीं थी उस टाइम, सबको डर लगता था कि उसके साथ बात किया तो मुझे बीमारी लगेगी. HIV is present in all biological fluids. जो भी आप नाम लें, whether it is saliva, whether it is sweat or whatever, he had cultured that. The fear was, would HIV be transmitted then by exchange of any body fluid? No, even if I touch the skin, would it mean that I might acquire? We didn't know. And this person, he came in front of me. He was so happy to see a doctor coming to meet him. He started speaking, and it was animated speaking. So saliva used to spurge and fall on my face. No? And I got so scared after a couple of minutes that my legs started moving. No? There was so much of fear. And then suddenly his wife came. She said she brought tea. And I saw this lady was smiling so well. I looked within and I said, this lady is not a medical person. She has not been taught anything about medicine. But still, she can smile. But look at yourself. You are a fool. You know everything about diseases. You know everything about organisms. And still you are shivering. From that day on, the shivering had stopped. I decided I will work in the field of HIV. That time in Bombay, there were only 3 doctors who were willing to talk to a HIV-infected individual. My life started there. And then I went into different less privileged groups. And I realized one of the things that I have to work hard on is not only providing care to them, but bring in equality. Every individual who lives on earth should be treated as equal to one another. And that's how the career started. I had all kinds of issues with the same. I'm not going to go into the detail. But at the same time, I'll tell you only one thing. Science is fascinating. In science, it's an unending story. You'll always find whatever you discover, whatever you see, the topic doesn't end there. There are new things that you start, thinking about. Because when you, what is, the more you will start reading, the more expertise you will gain in any field. We tend to wrongly believe that I'll know more about that subject. But the reality of life is, the more you read, the more you will know what you don't know. No? That's why it is an unending kind of a phenomena where you would like to spend your life learning about different things, and that becomes a passion in itself, because you are fighting to understand what is truth. What is required in science? In science, you must have honesty, you must have integrity, never get carried away by successes, learn from all failures. No? You will perhaps make a difference. And you should have all your special senses open to learn from everything that tends to happen. Actually, many people, they tend to believe my Padma Shri is because of COVID. It has nothing to do with COVID. I got it on 26th Jan 2020. And do you know why I got it? This is only to inspire you how things happen. No? I had a huge number of patients. No? Those who were HIV infected people, their organization said, Doctor, we are going to apply. As a matter of principle, I never applied for any award in my life because I think we do lot of window dressing which may not be the truth. No? And we try to project ourselves the wrong way. My patients, these HIV-infected people's organizations, sex workers organization, Hijra people's organization, all these organizations came together and they said, we will apply. And I got this Padma Shri only because of the work that I did it in HIV. And then what followed was COVID. To be honest, that day when I got it, that was the day when I was actually fighting for getting some samples to be moved from Rajasthan, Jaipur, of COVID to Pune. Why did I tell you this? Never look for successes. Success comes to you, as you pass by. Would I ever think that coming from Jilla Parishad school background, Marathi medium in which I studied, that I would have ever got Padma Shri? Not at all. But still, I could get it because in whichever branch you go, if you apply your mind, do things sincerely, you will always be rewarded by people, right? So never look at shortcuts, short benefits, or never have expectations of anything in your life. These are always fulfilled as long as you continue to work strongly in any particular area. Now, what did we, when it comes to cleanliness, health and cleanliness, let's try to learn a few things. Cleanliness is most important. Is it very difficult to follow? Absolutely not. You can easily be very clean. But why people are unclean? Why diseases tend to occur because of uncleanness? That is mainly because there is low awareness of what is being clean. Now let us start looking at how different diseases tend to occur if I don't pay attention to cleanliness, which was surprisingly, even Mahatma Gandhi, or unsurprisingly, even Mahatma Gandhi preached about it, that cleanliness is something which we should focus on. But we never paid so much of attention. That's the reason why you continue to have different kinds of diseases. You just look at hair that you have. If you don't wash them often, what will happen? You will find that there could be certain skin diseases that could occur under it. You could have fungal infections, which will result into baldness, small areas of baldness, which we call as alopecia areata. You will perhaps see that even people tend to develop dandruff, which is also something which is related to fungus. A fungus which we call as furfuralis. You look at what kind of bad habits do we have. It is, if you don't teach a person that if you touch any surface, you should not be touching the open surfaces that the body has, like your eyes, nose, your mouth, where the inner bodily part comes in contact with the environment. Now, what will happen if I just touch something like this and put my hand in the eyes? If there are any germs that are in that part which have the capability to infect that mucosa or that epithelium, you will find diseases will occur. What is the simplest and the best example that you can see? Every year, you know, in Bombay or larger cities during monsoon, you will find there is an outbreak of conjunctivitis, no, where your eyes become red, and then you have to stay at home. No, there is photophobia. Photophobia is if I look at the source of light, you know, I will find that teardrops tend to come down. The result is I can't see then the light really well. Why is this happening? This is happening because in the rainy season, people will go into different areas, touch that part, the germs will be there, somewhere lurking, and then you touch your eyes, you get conjunctivitis. Can this not be stopped? Very easily. If I decide that I will, if I have touched a surface which is an unknown surface where I am not very confident, you know, what it would have, first thing is I would avoid touching such surfaces. Second thing which I must understand, I will not touch my eyes, all open areas that we tend to have, and I might infect, otherwise I might infect myself. You think of other areas where if we don't follow hygiene, no, if I go outside and without washing my hands, if I start eating, what will happen? If there are germs which are able to survive in my intestinal passages, you will find I will get diarrhea. Can we not prevent diarrheas? Absolutely. What will I have to do easily? No, I have to just have one cleanliness habit, and that is wash your hand before you eat anything. No? The best example was during COVID. No? During COVID, there was so much of scare that if you touch some unknown surfaces, there could be a secretion, and that may give you COVID. What was the result? You know, everybody out of scare, they used to wash their hands with disinfectants wherever they touched. No? What was the result? In India, diarrheal diseases went down dramatically. There was hardly any diarrhea that was occurring at that particular point in time. Why? That was only because we followed a simple principle related to cleanliness, which made a huge difference in everybody's life. And why do I say huge difference? Because for us, as we grow older, no, for us diarrhea doesn't mean much. But look at a small child. No? If a small child tends to get diarrhea, the child lands up into dehydration. And when a child lands into dehydration, management of such a child becomes an issue, and many children, they tend to die because of dehydration. And the reason is simple, they're not brought to the hospital in time. You look at the other food hygiene that unfortunately we don't follow cleanliness. You look at those who are selling street food. Do they put any kind of cover or anything that they are selling? Perhaps not. What will happen? The food is very much there. You'll find houseflies will come, and these houseflies are sitting everywhere, whichever area they go to, and on their legs, they may take different organisms. The food becomes contaminated, and people tend to end up into having diarrhea. Is that a good thing? No. Is that easy to stop? Absolutely. But why does it not occur? It doesn't occur only because we have not made them aware. No, there is time that we have to enforce certain regulations that even those who go for selling street food, they must have certification of hygiene. If you go to five-star hotels, you find that even there, they will be wearing a cap so that their hair, any kind of suspicious material which could be called as unclean should not fall during preparation of food. They would be wearing gloves. The reason is, even after washing their hand, the reason is they feel that there are times where if I have not cleaned it well, I might pass it off. But do you really require gloves while preparing food? Perhaps not. No, but if you can wash your hands very cleanly, it makes a huge difference. Diarrheal diseases, even today, constitute one of the largest chunk of illnesses that tend to occur among children as of now. If you look at our cooking habits, people are perhaps not aware that half-cooked meat can perhaps be as dangerous because it can cause you one of the neurological, that is something which affects our brain, illnesses, which is called as toxoplasma. So the meat that you eat, we should ensure that it is fully cooked. If it is raw, you will find these parasites tend to enter in our body. What does it essentially mean? Would people do it intentionally if they come to know about it? They don't. But are they taught about these issues? They are never taught about it. You look at even other cleanliness issues, that we tend to cut fruits, keep them in open, and then we eat. What would happen? If you cut them and keep it in open, you are more likely to harm yourself. It depends on the environment where you have kept, and you might get different kinds of infections that tend to occur. Now, these issues tend to become smaller. If you look at cleanliness that is observed as a standard cleanliness, in any hotel you will find one enforceable thing is you must always ensure that the nails are cut very well so that the dirt and the potential places where the germs can settle in do not get transmitted to human beings. Now, if that has to be done, you have to teach people. Why am I saying all this? This I am saying because there is a receptive moment for anyone to teach about certain skills and certain knowledge. Why does that become important? You just look back into your childhood. When you were very small, your parents used to say that you brush your teeth every day in the morning and while sleeping. When they teach you this, the purpose is simple, because if you keep your mouth shut for a long period of time, you will find that organisms tend to grow within your mouth. When the organisms grow in the mouth, those organisms can perhaps cause different diseases. So essentially you brush your teeth when you wake up in the morning, and before sleeping in the evening, you brush it. But do you know, is that very tough for anybody to practice? Absolutely not. When your mother used to tell you, when you were very small, you acquired that skill. Did you ever ask again in your adulthood, as you grew older, why am I doing this? We don't. Now, the reason is, at that receptive age, if you are told, you will never question that wisdom of that thing subsequently in your life. So for everything, there is a receptive moment. All of us must catch that receptive moment and go ahead with the same. I still remember when I was small, no, younger, maybe I was around 30 or so, I was going for a retreat. A retreat is something which we call as one place where you don't work, but you go there and think on different kinds of researchable problems that we must focus on at leisure. No? And we were going by train to Nainital or some such place. There was a Indo-German lady, no, NRI. And this lady, while we were going in the train, she found there were many people who were coming and throwing glasses of water, the tea, just outside the train. Some were throwing it in the litter right there. She got so annoyed and she started fighting with them. We were little worried. We asked her, why do you do that? No, it's not good. They will start fighting with you. She came back and said, I fail to understand. This is your own country. No? You want to keep your country clean. And if it is your own place, why should you be doing these kinds of practices at all? No, you have to be careful. You should never do this, something like this. Within our minds, we thought, no, this is a utopian concept. But over a period of time, since the time the Swachh Bharat mission started, no, people have started thinking. This year, even Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti, no, at that time they had a cleanliness drive. No, it was all focused on cleanliness. The reason is we have to be responsible for our own health, and if I am to be responsible for my own health, I have to learn certain things to do, whether I like them or I don't like them. If I keep my own surroundings safe, things can be completely different, and we can perhaps be living in a better environment as such. Just imagine people don't think about even use of plastics as much. No? People even some time back, they started talking in terms of using potteries for consuming tea, but they didn't know how long does it take for degrading that material and how harmful can it be. Just imagine today's concept, the cleanliness is shifting. No? As you know more about certain things, you start realizing cleanliness goes at a different level. These days, there is a big fear that all of us have, and that is use of plastics, no, has increased certain plastic components which are being found even in the blood of people, no, which are called as plastules, and they are also called as plasticines. No? These, we think, are causing different kinds of diseases. And that's the reason now, if you actually go to different places, you will find, what do we advocate? We say use glass to store water, or use steel bottles to store water, but don't use plastics, because the longer you will keep, you will find that these plasticines will come in it and you may consume the same. Is that something which is very difficult to follow? No. But we are far more used to, doing things for our own convenience one way or the other. Is that a good thing to do? Perhaps not. No. It is time we reflect on small issues which are related to cleanliness, which will make difference in health. No? Because this is preventive health. For treatments, you may have to use different kinds of approaches which could be far more costlier and not without any harm while you administer them. I'll give you a crude example. We tend to believe that by 2050, almost 50% of the deaths that will occur in intensive care units will occur because of what we call as antimicrobial resistance. Infections where no antibiotics work. No, because the number of antibiotics that have been discovered so far continues to remain small, and therefore most of the people will acquire it during intensive care, their stay in intensive care units, and they will succumb to it. Why does this antimicrobial resistance tend to occur? One thing which we must remember, you must be looking at bad practices that tend to occur. I might not wear gloves when I go and touch that patient. The patient's germs, they will stick to my own skin, and I would touch on different places in the ward, ICU, intensive care unit. It may remain there on the wall. And these germs may be multi-drug resistant kind of germs. What will happen if I don't maintain the cleanliness in the hospital? It could be still worse. Just imagine during the COVID time, one of the first steps that we had to say was we asked people that if anybody is found to be spitting outside, the person will be punished. And we had to actually promulgate saying that spitting is prohibited in India. Now, why did this happen? Because these germs come from within, from the lungs. They would be there in the saliva, and I just spit it out. Now, when I spit out, you will find these droplets can be inhaled by somebody, and then the infection could occur. Is that a very good habit? Absolutely not. But do we stop at that? We don't stop at that. Because for some reason, we have failed to teach these children in schools that these are very harmful habits. No, you have to remember that even TB tends to spread from such kind of spittings. And people may not even reflect. Our saliva tends to contain the most complex immune proteins, which are called as immunoglobulins. Our body takes its own time to produce, and the effort is huge. These are protective antibodies that are produced and saliva contains them. By throwing them out, what am I doing? I am depleting my bodily reserves unnecessarily. Can this not be stopped? Yes, it can be. Can parents not play an important role? Can teachers not say that this is something which should not be done? It can be very easily said. But it is the learnings that we need to have in the school that will make a huge difference if we are to change our habits of cleanliness. Now we come to one of the last issues. I'm not going to bore you more. One issue, when we think in terms of cleanliness, don't think of cleanliness as a physical event. Cleanliness has to be even mental cleanliness. Our thoughts have to be good. And these are getting reflected all across in our lives now. Now that we are becoming little affluent, you suddenly find that there are children who tend to commit suicide. There are children who are running away. There are children who are unable to face competition well. Why is this happening? You have to remember your thought processes have to be clean. No negative thoughts. Don't feel you are competing with anybody. The world has enough of space for everybody to grow. Not everybody who reaches the top is likely to be one who is known as a scholar in their own times. There are so many examples, I'm not going to bore you with that. What is most important? Don't look at others and let that fear of losing competition bother you so much. The pressures, social pressures that you feel your parents, they want you to score 90% marks. They want you to score 95% marks. Don't ever think that way. Your parents are your own. They will always have some expectations, but it doesn't mean if you don't fulfill their expectations, you are a loser. No, you have lost it. Every life has a purpose. What you get, what you don't get, perhaps its implications will be seen later. Never compare yourself with your friends who get more marks. It's very important to learn that it's like a child. No, all children when they are born, their length is going to be 50 centimeters, close to 50 centimeters. But when you look at those children subsequently, as they become adolescents, some will be 5 feet tall, some will be 5 feet 10 inches tall. No, because the growth trajectory is going to be different, and all of them are human beings. No? All of them are otherwise equal. Never compare yourself. Who should you compare yourself with? Your own yesterday. No? Just think of whether today you have done better than what you had done yesterday. Don't bother about competition. Your competition is within, not outside. You may not get admission in IITs, or you wanted to become a doctor, you wanted to become whatever. No, as I keep on saying, look within. Each one of us has a classic quality which not many would have. One has to learn about it, hone the skills in those areas, and try to grow with the same. So having a positive outlook in life is extremely good. And there are times when I feel our own culture, the so-called cultural fatalism, tends to support it. We have to learn from that. We always say that this had to happen. I don't know the reason. God will help me. We don't know whether there is God, but still we say, oh, this was to happen. But what happens in that? The negativity goes off. You again try to focus on your own skills, and you may still make a difference. Never, no. Please ensure that you don't fall prey, as since most of you are adolescents, there are certain things which I must remember. There is a peer pressure that tends to work in childhood, no, adolescence. Just because your friend has started smoking, no, after some time, when he tries to coax you, अरे क्या क्यों नहीं तू सिगरेट पी रहा है? सभी लोग पी रहे हैं. हाँ? आज एक सिगरेट को का कश लगा के देखना. Should you succumb to that? No. Because please remember, the wrong lifestyle habits that tend to affect you when you are adults, they start in adolescence. If as an adolescent you acquire a habit which could be one which would be labeled as a wrong one, it is very difficult to stop that. What you need to learn, you should learn to say no to such events. Even if you have 5-6 friends who are, let's say, smokers, and you land up into that group of friends, if they force you, you should be able to strongly say no. If you cannot say no, please walk out of that setting giving any excuse which could be as useless as I want to go to toilet, no? But go out of that situation, you will never face that pressure. But it is important that for wrong things, you don't fall prey and you develop habits which could be destructive over a period of time. No, some of them, like, in some marriages, people tend to give bhang. No, they tend to smoke afim in certain kinds of marriages as a cultural tradition. Should we say yes to having it just because it is a celebratory event? Absolutely not. Learn to say no. Keep a positive outlook towards life. all of you will make a difference. Please remember one thing. Our PM tends to say by 2047 India will be a developed country. No. If you work hard, if each one of us contributes in a strong way to the national development in whichever aspect in which you are working, we will be able to make a huge difference and perhaps reduce that time for us to become a developed country. Dream big, think big. Failures are common, successes are far too few. But every failure will teach you something which will be a stepping stone towards success. And every success that you will achieve, you will perhaps add your own small effort to make people live happily, smile, and remain healthy. If small efforts even towards cleanliness, we need to remember that if you know more about cleanliness, the difference need not be something which is visible to you immediately, but all of us will have to strive hard to make our nation as one developed nation. And I'm sure now all of us, at least in my generation, we have become old. We try to do as much as we can, but the entire mantle now is in the hands of all of you. All of you, I'm sure, would be eager to make a difference in one's own life. If you make difference in your life, you will also make difference in others' lives. It's just that we have to keep that social angle in mind, do certain things which could be helpful for humanity, and together we will make this nation as numero uno, that is number one nation in the world, and will feel happy and proud that all of us tried to contribute to the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Well, सरांसाठी पुन्हा एकदा खूप जोरदार टाळ्या व्हायला पाहिजेत everyone. I would request sir to please be seated on the dais. I also want to request Professor Mr. Dinesh Kumar, Dean Research NSERT, to please come ahead on the stage to speak a few words. Can we?
Do we have time for some questions?
Yes.
No problem.
Okay. Also, I would like to ask to each one of you, अगर आपके पास कुछ questions है, if you want to ask any questions to sir, to please let me know.
Nice, sir. Hey, if you want to ask any question, because I was finding it
What's your
little
name, sir?
difficult. I'm not.
हाँ मैं वही कह रहा हूँ.
You can ask any question if you
At all
want.
any question is there, because after listening to Dr. Ganga Khedkar ji, it is not appropriate that I should speak much. Rather, I will simply say a thank and a few words what he has said, and that is extremely important. So I would request all the dear teachers and students to please have an interaction, and this is really a lifetime opportunity for all of you to listen to such an eminent person in the field, and how simply he has given so much of good lessons to you all. तो प्लीज़ आप उनसे जो अपने क्वेश्चंस हैं, क्वेरीज हैं, डाउट्स हैं, आप ज़रूर पूछिए उसे. माई रिक्वेस्ट वुड बी दिस ओनली. मेरा बहुत ज़्यादा बोलना, मैं इनके बारे में ही कुछ बोलूँगा. सो दिस इज़ माई हम्बल सबमिशन टू ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स एंड टीचर. इफ़ एट ऑल माइक इज़ देयर, अगर वहाँ माइक है तो उनके पास ज़रूर बच्चों के पास और टीचर्स के पास माइक ले जाए.
Good morning, sir.
या
Myself, Pankaj Verma from Himachal Pradesh. Sir, you are a very renowned personality. We have seen you so much during the COVID period. My very simple question is that, what was the most difficult task which you faced during that period? Because we have seen you a lot of times during the COVID on the national television. What was that motivation which we really wanted to know from you?
You first asked me, मैं अभी थोड़ा हिंदी में बात करूं?
Yes, sir. Yes.
हाँ? यानी सबको शायद समझता होगा। है सर ने क्या पूछा कि सबसे डिफिकल्ट टास्क क्या थी, है? और मोटिवेशनल फीचर कौन सा। सो दो।
क्या आपको डर नहीं लगता था सर अपने आप ही कि इतने?
बहुत बहुत, मैं बोलता हूँ ना सच बोलूँगा। सबसे बड़ा डर क्या था, मैं प्रेस को कभी हैंडल नहीं करता था। मैं बैकग्राउंड में काम करने वाला आदमी, जो करना है डिफरेंस करने की कोशिश करे, ऐसा लाइमलाइट में ऐसा अगर देखा ना तो डर जाता था मैं और वहाँ क्या हुआ, ये बीमारी ऐसी थी कि इसके बारे में किसी को मालूम नहीं। वुहान में ऐसे ही शुरू हुआ था, वो लोगों को भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, हमको भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। और हमारे देश में सबसे बड़ा टेंशन क्या रहता है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला कि लोग डरे वाले हैं, हर रोज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करना, उनका डर कम होएगा ना, जो हो रहा है बताना। ये इतना आसान होता है क्या? नहीं। किसी कोई जाने को तैयार था प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस को? कोई नहीं। अब मैं सबसे गरीब आदमी था, मैं नंबर 2, तो मुझे पकड़ लिए, बोले नहीं आप जाके वहाँ बैठना। भाई मैं कभी हैंडल नहीं किया, तो बिल्कुल नहीं, आप जाके वहाँ बैठ जाना। और वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का वर्डिक्ट क्या था कि आपने, वो लोग जब तक सवाल नहीं पूछना बंद करते हैं, आपने वो रिपोर्टर्स को आंसर करना है, एंड दैट विल बी टेलीवाइज्ड ऑल अक्रॉस इन द कंट्री। अब सच बताता हूँ, ये इतना आसान होता है क्या? नहीं। क्योंकि आपको तो वो प्रेस ब्रीफिंग में मैं शांत बैठे वाला दिखता था, लेकिन वो टेबल्स जो होते थे ना, उसको पैनल रहता था सामने। कई बार मैं भी ऐसे ऐसे इसको क्या बोलूं किसी को हिम्मत नहीं होती थी मुझे ये करने की। लेकिन क्योंकि एक सबसे बड़ा डर क्या था, अपना देश ऐसा है 140 करोड़ 134 करोड़ की लोक संख्या। अब ऐसे ही इसमें आप अगर देखें ना, आपको अभी किसी ने पूछा कि शुड वी गिव टी टू ऑल ऑफ देम हियर, there will be 50% who will say no, 50% will say yes, I want to. Now to handle that entire nation, make them feel comfortable with something which you also don't know, you have your own fears, and try to ensure panic does not spread, was extremely challenging task. Because one wrong word, and when I'm saying word, वो लफ्ज़ करके हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, वही चीज़ को आपने कोई अलग लफ्ज़ रखा और बोल दिया, तो उसका मतलब हर इंसान अलग अलग ढंग से निकाले, और उसका रिफ्लेक्शन क्या होगा, देश में रास्ते पे लोग आके खड़े रहेंगे, एक में से झगड़ा करेंगे, कोई पैनिक में चले जाएंगे, जला डालेंगे कोई चीज़ को। ये नहीं होने देना था। मैं एक ही स्ट्रैटेजी अडॉप्ट किया, एक तो सच बोलने का, जो अपने को मालूम है उतना ही बोलूं। नहीं, वो किसी को मालूम नहीं है, किसी को मालूम नहीं है, मुझे भी मालूम नहीं है। क्योंकि इंसान का एक सबसे बड़ा वीकनेस क्या होता है ना, आपको कोई सर बोले तो आप क्या बोलते हैं कि मुझे सब मालूम है। सच्चाई क्या होती है, देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन यू कन्फैबुलेट ना, देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन यू try to show off without knowing. You have to avoid that part. We did that really well. To be honest, no political party ever stopped me. No, there were no, even the government tends to say the same. Even the current government, they say कि इसने क्या किया पता नहीं, लोग झगड़े नहीं करे, लोगों ने रास्ते पे कोई खड़े आके नहीं गालियां देना शुरू हो गया, ना पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ने कुछ किया। That was one of the biggest achievement. What was my motivation? It was a time where tough decisions were warranted. We went for a lockdown. It was not an easy decision. The reason you will be shocked to know that if we would not have put lockdown, perhaps if everybody in the country required paracetamol to reduce your fever, we did not have those many tablets available. If you look at even the disinfectants, that is very common now, disinfectants we didn't have. If you look at masks that you wear, we did not have masks. How do you fight with such an illness? Secondly, coming to your motivational issue. कई कबार मैं तो पहले से ही ऐसी आदमी हूँ ना. Motivation यानी you find a place where you can contribute and try to make a difference. There is one thing which I know. If you earn money, no, you still have people who may be earning more money. But what is most important for you to remember? If I have satisfaction of doing something which was non-financial, perhaps what I have achieved will be far more. And if the time demanded at that juncture that the nation should fight really well, if I could contribute to such a thing, I thought this was a God-given opportunity. Actually, when I looked at the photograph, that photograph, I was getting confused while I was sitting down because I saw a little black color, this thing there. Then I suddenly, I was little worried that the photograph is showing this. You know, one day I remember this was 24/7 kind of work. I came and I was so tired. I was sitting on the cot and बाद में मैंने ऐसा हाथ रख के कब नींद लग गई पता नहीं चला, खाना भी नहीं हुआ था. And when I woke up, because of some noise, I fell down. So I had all black color right here, but I still went there. I was worried whether this photograph was one which showed that kind of thing. Then people started asking me next day in the press conference, sir, ये क्या हो गया? वो जो हुआ बच तो गया ना, इतना ही तो मार पड़ा है, लेकिन वो रुकना तो नहीं है, क्योंकि देश के लिए कुछ करने का चांस मिलता है ना. Never lose that opportunity. Never, never.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
नमस्ते सर. सर आज के ज़माने में हर एक फिट होना चाहता है, लेकिन आपको देख के ऐसा लगता है कि आप कुछ ज़्यादा ही फिट है, हेवी वेट है. तो आप क्या बताएंगे कि कैसे आप मेंटेन करते हैं कि अरे मेरा वजन बढ़ रहा है, मेरा बॉडी मास इंडेक्स बढ़ रहा है, मेरा बीपी बढ़ रहा है, मेरा शुगर लेवल बढ़ रहा है. सो हाउ यू विल हमें बताएंगे कि आप कैसे अपने आप को मेंटेन करते हैं. थैंक यू.
कर सकेंगे ना. अभी तो कैसा है, अभी मेरे को चलना ज़्यादा पड़ेगा ना. एक सिंपल, वन ऑफ द सिंपलेस्ट हैबिट्स दैट ऑल ऑफ अस मस्ट हैव, द बेस्ट एक्सरसाइज दैट यू कैन डू इज टू वॉक ना. फिजिकल फिटनेस वॉज वाइटल ना. एज ही राइटली सेड, यू हैव पुट ऑन वेट. एज आई ऑल्सो टोल्ड यू अर्लियर, my fortune or misfortune, I cannot say, was the health minister then, Dr. Harshavardhan. He said, actually my passion lied in, once I retire, I wanted to go back to my poor patients. No? So I told them that I should have access to all those who are HIV infected people. I will go and attend the clinic. You permit me to handle those patients there. So he said, this is a true story. He said कि आप वो क्लिनिक विनिक मत जाना. क्यों? तो बोले उधर अगर ये कोविड आ गया और आपको लग गया तो the risk that you will entail will also be something which nation would not like to have. So what you do is you sit at home. I was Dr. C.G. Pandit National Chair. You sit at home and you work from home all the time. My problem was worse. No? Our meetings used to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. they would end up any time around 6, 7 depending on the day. और 7 बजे से वो टीवी के जो लोग आते रहते हैं ना, वो इंटरव्यूज को बिठाते थे. Prime time tends to occur around 9, 10 o'clock in the night. So it was continuously sitting kind of a job that has reflected very badly. But I agree that I will have to make efforts to improve my health. To be really honest, no, even today morning, while I was coming here, my wife said, "Do you think that you will walk and you will do it?" I said, "This is my contribution to my country. If by somehow, no, if I go there and if I can influence at least one child as much that they will perhaps contribute huge way to the country, I think I have made my life, no, walking, the pain and the breathlessness. This is partly because of Omicron that I got. But I don't say no, that is a weakness. Actually, yesterday evening I said, today I have a meeting subsequently with the health minister. So I said, can we postpone this to 30th? And the reality of life is I never ask questions. I didn't even know what am I going to speak on. Because I think every opportunity you should grab by both hands. Our lives are too short, but the difference that we have to make is so big. No, each one of us should try to make their own efforts to do something. But as Sir said, I will try and improve my health as much. I will have to give some time to myself.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think he said it because we all love you and we want you around for many years to guide us in all these aspects. Thank you so much for sharing your important turning points in life and having a tete-a-tete with our young scientists. May I now request Professor Dinesh Kumar ji?
I'll speak. Yeah, thank you so much. After listening to all these things, I am not going to really bore you because it was such a wonderful session, and in such a simple words, he has given lots of lessons to all of us. So my request, and this is a kind of opportunity that you have had an opportunity of listening to Professor Ganga Khetkar ji, and especially about doing short things which can make really big differences in your life and in the life of the nation as well. So whatever he has said, and this is an opportunity which is provided by NCERT by organizing all such opportunities for young children. So I request all of you to please carry some take-home message from whatever is being spoken by the eminent speakers every day here. And today's session was really very enlightening, and his lessons given to you that if you can really do hard work very honestly without any inclination towards money, and you have a willingness to contribute to the nation, then perhaps you can really bring big changes in the life of yourself as well as life of the people of the society and the country. So iske saath मैं प्रोफेसर गंगा खेटकर जी को
एक ही बोलूंगा मैं, जिंदगी में मुझे क्या मिला मत देखो, मुझे जो मिला उसमें से मैंने दूसरों को क्या दिया, ये देखते जाना.
तो यही बात मैं कहना चाहता था कि जो सर ने कहा है, और इतने सिंपल तरीके से, इतने छोटे छोटे उदाहरण से, कि आप छोटी छोटी सफाई अगर रखते हैं तो न सिर्फ स्वयं हेल्दी रहते हैं, सोसाइटी के लोगों को भी आप हेल्दी रहने में कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं. और आपका छोटा सा प्रयास भी अगर किसी तरह से हमारे सोसाइटी के लोगों को और देश की पॉलिसी को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता है, so that can really bring a big change in the life of millions of people, what he has said, and this is a take-home message for me. So I would request all the young children and teachers of the country to really take this message and spread this message so that our young children become really honest to oneself and as well as for the nation. So thank you so much, sir. And on behalf of NCERT and on behalf of the organizers of the Maharashtra state, I take this opportunity of thanking Professor Ganga Khetkar ji for sparing his really valuable time for talking to the young children and teachers of the country who has come here as a participant of the 50th Rashtriya Bal Vaigyanik Pradarshani. This is a prestigious event which is being organized for last 50 years, and I hope that all the children will really contribute to the best of their abilities. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, एकच minute. Sir, if you could please stay back for a couple of more minutes, please. May I request the esteemed presence of Joint Director SCERT, Mr. Ramakant Ratmorji, on the dais, please, and Assistant Deputy Director, Ms. Jyoti Parihar, ma'am, on the dais, please. May I request both of you to felicitate our Dean, Research Department, NCERT, New Delhi, Professor Dinesh Kumar ji. Honorable Mr. Katmore ji and Ms. Jyoti Parihar ji felicitating our Dean, Research Department, Professor Dinesh Kumar ji. Let's have a huge round of applause. May I now request Honorable Mr. Yogesh Sonaune ji, HOD, IT Department, SCERT, Pune, to present a book to Dr. Raman Ganga Khedkar ji as a token of appreciation from us, and also to render the vote of thanks. May I please request Professor Sonaune ji to render the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Dr. Raman Ganga Khedkar, sir. I would like to express special thanks of gratitude for accepting our invitation and your presence in Rashtriya Bal Vaigyanik Pradarshani 2023 Maharashtra. Your thoughts and suggestions truly inspired and enlightened minds of these child scientists. Thank you once again, sir.
I now declare that the program in the morning, the science talk, is officially over. The students in a few minutes could please move to your exhibits now. The stalls would be open in a few minutes for all the students to come visit. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
The universe, with everything in it, is called Maya.
May I request everyone to step back a little bit and give him some space to breathe. May I request everyone थोडंसं मागे होता का 2-2 पावलं प्लीज. सरांना जर असा श्वास घेण्यापुरती जागा सोडा. सर थोडंसं मागे होता का? थोडं मागे व्हा त्यांना असं. प्रश्न विचारा पण थोड़ा पीछे से पूछिए, थोड़ा पीछे से पूछिए, मतलब उनको थोड़ा जगह दीजिए. बच्चा आजा पीछे. यू वांट टू आस्क? स्टे इन लाइन. त्यांचे बाउन्सर नाही आहे का कोणी? बाउन्सरला सांगा. सर थोड़ा उनको सांस लेने के लिए थोड़ी जगह दीजिए. आप पूछिए सवाल.
नहीं, you can produce human being from anything, no? But the problem is these are experiments, no? And in the experiment, if you produce a dangerous kind of a human being, then it will be tough. No? That's why this kind of
चलो बाजू हटो.
thank you.
फोटो अलाउड करायचे आहेत नाही करायचे? हो ना. All the young kids, if you can go to your exhibits now, we should be open because kids from local schools are visiting the exhibition soon. If you could please start moving towards your exhibit stalls now.
The universe, with everything in it, is called Maya.
Do we have Dhara here? Anywhere around here? Uh, क्या वो कौन सा बोले? इथे कृपया अशी गोल गर्दी करू नका. एका लाईनीत उभे राहा प्लीज. मुलांनो, इफ यू कुड प्लीज स्टँड इन अ लाईन अँड नॉट मेक अ सर्क्युलर कमोशन हिअर.
सबको विनती है कि आप बाजू हटो, यहाँ से लाइव हो रहा है. सब दोस्तों को विनती है कि आप बाजू हटो जल्दी. बॉन्सर जी, आप भी थोड़ा हटो, वो लाइव में नहीं आ रहा है. कुठंच नाही, असंच म्हणायचं.
तीन चार लोकांचा ग्रुप बनवून फोटो काढले तर छान फोटो येईल आणि लवकर संपतील. तीन चार लोक जर का एकत्र आले तर त्यांचे उत्तम फोटोज येतील आणि पटकन होतील.
इकडे बघा आता. नाही ना.
चहा कॉफी चहा
चला चला सर चला आता टाइम अप चलो
एक मिनिट हा.
आगे से आओ
The universe, with everything in it, is called Maya.
बघून घ्या. Okay, there's Miss Ratna, this ma'am, 1 second. Ratna ma'am, cultural event हाँ कॉफी नहीं ग्रीन टी बोली ना हरा ने बताया.
अकोला वाले आए थे सब फोटो निकलना है
एक मिनिट एक्सक्यूज मी सर ग्रीन टी येतोच आहे सर ग्रीन टी येतोय तो बघ पाणी नकोच पाणी पाणीच नको आ रहा है
Coffee takes 2 minutes to make that.
नहीं ये ग्रीन टी
The universe, with everything in it, is called Maya. Maya.
Hello. Hello. Check. Check. Hello. 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 Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. 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 Check. Hello. Hello. Mike. Check. Hello. 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 Check. Hello. Hello. Check. Hello. 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 hello, check, hello, 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 check, hello. Check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello.
The universe, with everything in it, is called Maya. Maya.
Hello, hello, check, test. Hello, hello, check, hello, 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 check. Hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, hello, check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, 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 check, hello, check, hello, 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 check, hello, hello, hello. Check, hello, hello, check, hello, hello, check.
The universe, with everything in it, is called Maya. Maya. everything in it is called Maya. Maya. universe, with everything in it, is called Maya. Maya.